Hey guys, welcome back to another review. Today we are talking about Apocalypse Now, the final cut. So Apocalypse Now was released in 1979, was made by the iconic Francis Coppola and it is considered a cinematic masterpiece. Apocalypse Now, the final cut, was restored from the original negative as well of the original film, which is incredible. This film has undergone various different versions over the years, which included the Redux version, which was a longer version of the original theatrical version, and now the Final Cut version, which is a little bit in between both of those different versions. So it's not quite as long or as lengthy as the Redux version, but it also has a lot more in it than the original theatrical cuts. And my word, this movie was incredible. It was one of the most immersive cinematic experiences I've had this whole year. It was incredible. Now, before I talk about the movie itself, this was the first time watching this movie for me. I know it's probably crazy for you to hear that, especially because I love movies and I review them all the time, and I have not yet seen Apocalypse Now up until this point. I know it's crazy, but I must say I am so glad that the first time I got to see this movie was the way that Francis Coppola wanted me to see the movie, in theatre and on an incredible IMAX screen with incredible sound. This movie was crazy. It was insane. If you know a little bit behind the scenes of the movie, this movie took a long time to be made. There was a lot of problems on set. There was a lot of issues that the production faced while making the movie, and it doesn't show in the movie, which is obviously a great thing. But the fact that this movie exists and the fact that it exists at this sort of quality, it's impressive. It's damn impressive. So a basic outline of the story of this movie is that Captain Willard, who's played excellently by Martin Sheen, he is sent on a mission. His mission is to exterminate with extreme prejudice a character called Colonel Kurtz. And Captain Willard has to go through war-stricken Vietnam up this river to find and exterminate his targets. A pretty basic plot for this movie, but this movie is so submersive, and that was one of the things I was extremely drawn to. There are just moments of, I guess, pure, like, to a degree, insanity. Like, you're just put in this place. You really feel the war around you. It's very, very interesting. And there are some beautiful just character moments, if I can say that, like portrait moments of certain characters in the film. And it's beautifully captured by the cinematography, which also is just, cinematography in this movie is not only ahead of its time, way ahead of its time, but it is beautiful. It's one of the best looking movies I think I've ever seen, and I'm not just saying that, it really was incredible. The way they use the smoke grenades and the flares and stuff like that to light scenes, and it's amazing. It's amazing. The helicopters, like practical helicopters, there's no CGI in this movie. There's no CGI in this movie at all. It's all practical effects, and it's insane. It's better than insane. It's incredible. It's like, I can't even describe how great it is. Anyway, back to my initial point. Just the way that this movie portrays scale, I guess, but then again puts you straight back into the character and into their motives and just what they're feeling. It does that so well. It captures character moments so well and the individual conflicts that a person is feeling, but it also just shows war on a grand scale, and it is an incredible thing to behold. The quality of this movie for its time is really great, and it's a movie that I'll definitely be revisiting. I don't think I got everything from the movie, if I can say that. I know this movie has a lot of symbolism in it, and I definitely got some of it. And some of it is displayed in a very sort of poetic and art-like way, where we are able to interpret things and understand what the movie's trying to, I guess, explain. But there is definitely a lot of deeper stuff as well in this movie that I think will take a couple of viewings and a little bit of analysis to understand, which I think I'll have to do going forward. But this movie, for a first time viewer like myself, it blew expectations. It really, really did. The way that this movie uses transitions as well, not to give anything away or spoil anything, but there's a scene where there's this fan on a ceiling that transitions into a helicopter blade, and it's great. That sort of transition and that sort of style in a movie, I don't think it had existed up until that point, and the fact that this movie was doing this in the 70s is really, really incredible. The Flight of the Valkyries moments as well, which is quite an iconic piece of music, I guess I could say, was really great in this movie as well. It was so great to finally see that scene that is referenced in so many other movies, like all the time. It was great seeing that. And another great thing about this movie is that there's definitely been so many other references to this movie in sort of more recent modern day movies. Like I was even watching the Ninjago Lego movie the other day, and there's this scene in that movie which kind of was like taken straight out of Apocalypse Now, and it's great now understand those references, and they're not just random scenes anymore. I kind of understand where they've come from and what they're referencing, which is cool, because Apocalypse Now has definitely been referenced in a lot of other movies, and rightfully so. It's a really great movie. It's a really well crafted and well made movie. Now there is one, I guess, segment of this movie which slowed down the pace of it quite a lot. I'm not going to go into too many details about that, but it pretty much has to do with the French plantation scene, which kind of drew me out of the movie a little bit, just slightly, because the movie was going at a pretty good and consistent pace. And then this sort of sequence just drew me out a little bit. I guess it didn't really draw me out, but it just sort of slowed everything down a little bit, which I think kind of messed with the pacing of the film. And now this is a scene and a sequence that was put in the final cut version of the film. Apparently this is not in the original theatrical cut. I've not yet seen that theatrical cut, but apparently this sequence is not even in it. And there is a bit of, like, I guess, story development there to a degree, but it's stuff that I don't think is necessary for the movie. I think without it, the movie would have worked just as well, if not better. I understand why Francis Coppola put that in the final cut of the movie, that and apparently this final cut is his, like, it's his favorite version. It is the final cut version of this movie, so I don't think we will get any other future cuts of Apocalypse Now going forward. Francis Coppola apparently was just never really happy with this movie, so he kept tweaking it a bit and changing it up a bit, but now this is the version he's happy with, which I can respect. I mean, this is his movie, and this was the direction he wanted to take it, and I mean, it's been like decades afterwards, and he's decided to do this only now. So I respect his decision for it. It just, for me personally, drew me out of the movie slightly. I don't think it's bad, and I don't think it's like a sequence you have to sort of forward or fast forward through. I think it's not long enough to draw me out completely. I just think it did slow down the pace slightly of the movie. Guys, I absolutely love this movie. It is a movie I'm going to be rewatching, I think, every couple of years, because there's just a lot in it, and it's a movie that's puts you straight into the Vietnam War. You feel like you're in Vietnam with these guys while they're traveling up this river. It was incredible, and I'm so grateful I got to see this on the big screen with incredible visuals and just incredible sound, thanks to the IMAX theatre that I was in. I know a lot of people who are probably watching this may have missed the initial screenings or viewings for Apocalypse Now, the final cuts in their theatres, and possibly you might not have even got it in your cinemas, which is really sucky, and I'm sorry about that. But guys, if you have seen the final cut of Apocalypse Now, what were your thoughts on it? I would love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Did you prefer it? Is this your favorite version? Or were you like myself who was watching it for the first time? I'd love to know your thoughts on that. And if for whatever reason the movie is still releasing in your cinema in the next couple of months or couple of weeks or whatever, will you be going back to watch it, or will you be watching it for the first time? I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you so much for joining me in this review. I really do appreciate it. Remember to like this video, subscribe, and comment down your thoughts. I would love to read them, and I do read every single comment, so just saying. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.